morning. Welcome back to Up in Smoke Firewood. Today I wanted to share some of the things that I've added to my outdoor wood boiler to make my boilering more enjoyable. Well, so the first one would be this light, and that's full of water. I've said it before, this is a solar powered street light. I got it for free to make YouTube videos on. I thought it was kind of neat. I thought it would be kind of gimmicky, but after I put it on, it's actually quite helpful. This side is the light side. It's got all the LED lights in it, and this is the solar side. I have to remember to leave it this way. And this one, when it gets super cold, it doesn't want to work that well, but for general purposes, for the majority of the time, it works really well. I wind up lighting up the yard when you hear something, you know, Sasquatch out there. But what I like about it is I've got it on this swivel, which is just, I put a sleeve in the ground with a pipe, and I put this into it, so it comes right off. I can swing it out of the way of my driveway. I can swing it, shine it on my woodshed out in the yard, or I can shine it right into my boiler this way. That's been super helpful, more than I ever expected. So that brings me to the back of the machine. If you watch some of my other videos, I installed this boiler commander, and that will be another video on its own. But part of the process was to install this Inkbird Wi-Fi controller. What I like about this is, from my phone, it hooks to your Wi-Fi, it monitors the temp of the boiler. More importantly, it shows me a little graph, I don't know if you guys can see it, that demonstrates the cooling down and heating up cycles, how quick your recovery is. It's really useful to know. I don't know if I can find it a little further back here. Well, here's one where it really dropped off. That means that my coal bed went out and there was a problem, which turned out to be one of my fans was blocked. This gives me the data I need so I can see if there's something wrong and make sure that my boiler is running optimally. It also gives me the ability to get up in the morning and check it. If it's up to temp, not screaming for wood, you don't have to run out here as fast as you can early in the morning and get your boiler filled. At the same time, I installed the Inkbird and the boiler commander. As part of that system, I installed a metal grate in the bottom of my boiler. This is something that probably is not necessary for everyone's boiler. Mine, being a coal burner, it's a C500 by Heatmaster, requires the fans to blow up through your coal bed. What I would find is, one, that was a struggle for the fans to do that, but when I would come out, instead of having this nice coal bed, I had an ash bed. And at the time I thought it was a coal bed, but I get these little pinholes where the fans were just barely able to blow through. Had some maybe glowing embers, they'd get the wood lit, but it was not producing heat in the morning. After I put that grate in, it's got some notches and holes and even a snorkel to put some air into the top of the fire and get a secondary burn. We've really seen not only longer burn times, it's less struggle on the fans, less stress on the fans to blow freely under the grate with a lot more opportunities. What I thought was a coal bed was a dense ash bed that was very hard to blow through, and now I have this beautiful coal bed that's probably 12 to 16 inches deep, and that will maintain heat a lot longer than those ashes, and not only does the entire system perform better, I am going through less wood and I get far longer burn times. Welcome to the bathroom. One of the other features that I really like about my boiler setup, and it's something that was installed from the beginning. I had some help installing it, and the guy that did it recommended this. I didn't realize how valuable it was till I had to wind up using it. This, as you can see, hopefully you guys can see from there. Let me get you in. So this here is my water main. That's coming in from my well. In that loop here, we tapped into, this is actually a line that goes under the floor to another room. We tapped into here and put a valve. When I turn that valve on, that is introducing water from the system into the boiler loop. See if we can go to the other side of the fridge. So you can see right here where that T, this is the return loop back to the boiler. That water line taps into it. If your water level is low, if you have a boil over, which you should never have, or just need to add water from evaporation, that gives you opportunity to do it from inside without dragging a hose clear across the lawn, putting the water in from the top end of the boiler. If it's freezing outside, just turn the valve on, add a little water, Bob's your uncle. So here's another part of the system that I added afterwards. We have a whole house generator that runs everything in our house, but it runs nothing out here in my shop. And the boiler is powered off the panel here in the shop. I wanted a way to back it up in the case of a power outage, especially in the winter. We are at the very end of the power lines. So if there's a storm, one where linemen can't get out to us because we are in the middle of nowhere, or it affects a lot of other people, we're kind of last on the list to get put back together, which is fine. We just want to have some backup power. And when I use my generator, if I want to run the boiler off that, I have this Generac outlet here, but I have to run about 150-foot extension cord from my generator, from the electric service, back here to this panel. So we got this Blue Eddy battery station that will run the entire boiler for a number of days just off the charge it has. I currently just have it plugged into a 110 outlet that keeps the batteries tended. You could use solar panels as well, if that was something you're interested in. And I have this cord here so that I can plug it into the 30 amp here, plug it into this Generac outlet, and on my panel, I'll get you a little closer. You can see here on the panel, it's got kind of these safety switches here. So this is the main breaker where the power comes in. If I flip this off so that there is no power from the grid feeding this panel, I can slide this metal plate up, which allows me to throw this breaker on. Right now it's blocked off so you can't do it. And that will allow the power from that 30 amp Generac outlet and this Blue Eddy, or the whole house generator if we opt to do that, to feed this panel. But because you have this off, it is impossible for the power to come back on and back feed your generator. You'll have to come out here once you realize that the power is back on and do it all in reverse, and then you can go back to grid power for your boiler. I was talking with Joe this morning, that's the inventor of the boiler commander there, and he was asking, you know, now that things are running so much better from all the improvements we've been making to the boiler, and well, after 7 years, me figuring out how to properly clean it out, I have pretty much doubled my burn time. It hasn't been super cold here yet, so I don't know if that's a fair assessment. I want to go through an entire season, but I'm using far less wood and getting far longer burn times. He said, well, would you consider burning in the summer? And I thought, you know, I might consider extending the season, because sometimes I try not to turn the heat on in this shop until we use the boiler. That's the majority of my square footage that we heat, is this shop and my garage. Then we turn it on, but I don't know if it would be worth it just for the hot water in the summer is literally all I'll be doing. Tell me in the comments, do any of you guys run your boilers all year long? I've got a neighbor that runs his quite often, but he's heating a swimming pool with it. We do have an electric hot tub. I would consider hooking that to it, but I don't know, just a thought. It seems to me we're gone a lot in the summer. I'm not sure it would work out anyways or be worth it. Sometimes I just need a break from the firewood Olympics, but it did kind of get me thinking, and I wonder how many guys do that. He said he runs his all year long, but he's in Minnesota, so several hours, many hours north of here. So I imagine, you know, if I had an 8-month heating season there, as opposed to 4 that we have here, you know, then it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to just keep it going all year long. But for us, we really run the thing about 4 months and turn it off for the other 8. I don't know, maybe we'll extend that a month, but curious to see what you guys think. I think we need a better sign here too. I'm gonna make kind of a 3D out of real wood, something like that, rather than just this flag and this cool bench. I don't know. I get to sit in here and my mind starts going, but lots of cool ideas. Anyways, that's about it for this video, guys. Kind of a short one, but I felt it was kind of informative. I had a few interesting things that I put on my boiler that I think are really cool. What are some of the things you guys have added to them? You know, through some of these boiler videos in the comments, I realized, like, one, how many people are out there with wood boilers, other people's videos, my comments section, the Facebook forums, things like that. There's a lot of guys out there, especially when it comes into like sheds and wood storage and roofs over your boiler and all kinds of things. Like, there are just some really clever people out there with a lot of cool things. So I'd be real interested to hear what you guys are doing. If you've got any pictures, my email is in the description here. It gets buildlife7@gmail.com. Send them to me. I love seeing pictures of people's setups. I would love to include them in the videos as well. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.